welcome to another edition of Turn 6 Garage. Today I'm driving a mystery vehicle that will be revealed on the channel in the coming months. But as I'm looking for more projects, I've had 10 project cars, and in this video I'm going to sit back and reflect as to which ones I liked, which ones I didn't like, and which ones I have the fondest association with. So we'll be starting from bottom, the ones that I don't like or gave me the most amount of grief, and the ones that I'm keen to see the rear end of. Number 10, well, that's no surprise, the 121. That was possibly my stupidest purchase by a country mile. Looked okay-ish on the pictures at the salvage auction, but when I got it, it was a flaming pile of shit. And yeah, it was a bad choice. It made me sick every time I got in it, so I couldn't actually finish it. I had to sell it in a sort of semi-busted state, which wasn't fun. And I had to, and ultimately lost money on it because the car made me sick to be in it, so I had to get rid of it. It triggered off all my allergies, which was not very nice. So that one is gone. I don't know what happened to that. I sold that. Apparently it was going to be turned into a rental car, but that's that. I don't want to know any more about it. Number 9, it looked very nice, but it stung like a bee. The 2004 grey Outlander. This car looked beautiful, and on paper it should have been an absolute winner. But in reality, a little rough idle on a Mitsubishi can mean multiple things, but surprisingly, it can mean the engine is out of time, unfortunately for this car. Blew a head gasket, it needed a lot of work. It was in a state when I ultimately found out what was wrong with it. Had I known that, I probably wouldn't have bought it. So that was my error. I absolutely regretted it, but it turned out to be a really nice car in the end. And it felt very nice to drive as well. It was actually in quite a nice shape. The interior was in lovely condition. The exterior was in beautiful condition. And I'm happy as to what happened to it. It went to a good home, and this individual likes to rescue animals with it. So it's been a car that someone's loved. So I'm happy at its fate, but it gave me a lot of grief. Number 8, well, I didn't really do much with this one. The Lancer. Sort of feeling of indifference with this car. It wasn't a bad car, I just didn't do a whole lot with it. I did some filming with it with the Outlander and got rid of it because someone offered me a reasonable number for it as is, so I just let it go. I didn't really bond with it that much, so that's why I wasn't as keen on working on it. I thought I'd have a bit more of a bond to it, but not really. Number 7. And it still burns me to this day, the 1992 Serena, specifically Nick's 92 Serena. Bad choices other people make. Only kidding. That car is just a piece of shit. It's a Nissan, so it likes to do things, it likes to brake. It's rare in Japanese, so parts are unobtainium for it, which is excellent, especially if you're trying to fix it. You have to learn to mend and make do. Make your own hoses, make your own clamps, make your own parts to make it fit the car. It's one of the only times Holden and Ford parts come together in the same car. And of course, the piece of junk decided to blow a head gasket. Brilliant! Just after the oil leaks got fixed. Even more brilliant. But it is a weird car. It's a crazy car. It's very unusual. And its strangeness puts it at number 7. Otherwise, it's burnt me whole. At number 6, the most recent one we're doing, the Mercedes C180. Now, of course, timing's been a bit of an issue with that car. Things didn't go to time, and it's ultimately meant that it's been pushed back a lot. But it's coming along, and I'm looking forward to seeing it done. Number 5, the red Mitsubishi Outlander. So, the red Mitsubishi, I didn't like it originally. I bought it so it was a bit of a sell car. Things took a bit longer than expected with it. But ultimately, at the end, I was very happy at the finished product. The car that I saw on that hot summer's day at Gray's in December 2021 was an absolute dead duck. It had been abused, the exhaust had had it. It looked like it had been left to die, and it had been badly treated, and it was just in a state. But the engine purred. It didn't sound too bad, apart from the exhaust, obviously. It didn't idle roughly, and I went, you know what? This thing deserves a second chance. It bit me quite a bit during that time with all the suspension work that needed doing. It made my life a bit difficult in sometimes with those wishbone bushes, and it costing more than it should have cost. We should have done the wishbone bushes with the arms. That was completely my fault and screwed up any margin in it. But at the end of the day, it went to a good home. It was in very nice condition when I was done with it, even though the bonnet had a bit of clear coat on it. And I actually felt quite an affinity for that car when I let go of it. I was very happy to see it go into someone's hands who was going to love it. So that was a very good ending for that car. Number 4, well, that would be the Hyundai Getz. The Getz was the only salvage car that worked. A trip to the wreckers more or less saved it. Parts were cheap, plenty of them around, and the finished product was actually a good car. Gave it a good clean, fixed it up, sorted out the hydraulic lifters, sorted the back axle out, and as a car, it was actually really good. It did have issues with those rear door locks failing, and yeah, that failed on me. Just the day I sold it, the replacement lock failed, so I told the person who bought it to get another lock. But again, went to a good home. Good car too. Fun to drive. I actually enjoyed it quite a lot. Number 3, the Nissan Micra, the first one. I really enjoyed driving the Micra. Little 3-cylinder engine, loved that gearbox, even though it was a little notchy at times, but loved the way it felt. Turned very well, and as a package, I really enjoyed it. Took a bit longer than expected to sell though. We did put a bit too much rego on it, and it appears that at the bargain basement end of the market, giving them more isn't something they want. They actually want less for less. So, a bit of a surprise. But of course, the Micra was a good car, and is still on the road, which is very, very good. We sold it to the daughter of a mechanic, so the mechanic looked at it very closely and liked what he saw, so more or less vindicated the work we put into it. Number 2, well, it just got sold 2 days ago at the time of filming, the Kia Rondo. That car really got me out of a bind where I was. So where I am in South Australia, they're doing the roads up. My other car there is my A4, and the roads were absolutely dreadful. The Rondo was still there. I hadn't sold it at that time, so I put 4 tyres on it and drove it and stuck 1500 Ks on it. And in that time, it became my daily driver, effectively. The roads were so bad, I had to park it somewhere on the street. I had to leave it out for days on end, and it did everything well. It drove well, it was comfortable, it was easy to drive, controls were really good, and I daily drove that car for so long. I daily drove it from basically the back half of April till early June. And I was putting a lot of Ks on it every day. I was going backwards and forwards a lot, doing lots of things in it. And it was great for what it was. It was a fantastic car. And I sold it. I was going to think of car next dooring it, because I got stood up 9 times on the Rondo, something to do with people in South Australia buying cars. I'm not going to go into any further details, but given what my life is there and what I do there, I can't have that. Hence why the rentals are on the shopping list, because I can't have people standing me up given what I do. So I had to sell it. I didn't make anything on it. I effectively got a free car to daily drive 1500 Ks, which is actually a good thing. Effectively with the Rondo, I was considering car next dooring it, but I got an offer that paid me out of the car, and I said, you know what, they can have it. I'm going to leave it for a few weeks. And I thought, I don't really want to do that. And I had other cars I wanted to play with anyway, which I'm still looking at. So the Rondo's gone to a good family. It's gone to a young family. It's a car that someone likes, and I'm happy for that. I'm happy about how it's ended for that car, and there may be more in the future. I've said to them, if anything happens, just let me know with it. Same with all my cars. So who knows with the Rondo what happens next. Number one, well, that's pretty bloody easy. My 2002 BMW 325i. I have developed such a bond for this car. It is such a special car to me. I love old BMWs. I love old trashy Euros in particular, but I love plastic, fantastic BMWs. And I would like to own one of all models of 3 Series. Yeah, and probably multiple E46s, E36s. Not sure about multiple E30s because they're getting a bit expensive now, but and E21s are just getting hard to find. But I love my E46. The 2.5 litre inline 6 engine is so intoxicating when you drive it at speed. You just want to keep driving and driving and driving it. So in terms of turnaround, there has been no car with as big a turnaround as my silver E46. The red Mitsubishi's close, but the scale of the things I found in my E46 easily outtrumps Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi had a lot of dirt and dust and tan bark and other things in there. Basically had half of Greensboro in it, but it didn't have creepy crawlies, it didn't have ants, it didn't have a Duff headliner, it didn't smell like sex wax, and didn't have interesting things everywhere in the car. Oh yeah, and a small sugar plantation under the passenger seat. Yeah, the E46 when I got it was about ready to die. It would have died had it not been for me. And it was one of the biggest turnarounds, giving that car multiple layers of cleaning and finding multiple things in it. Yeah, it was an interesting story. That's why it's number one, not just the affinity and the bond and the car, it's the turnaround. Red Mitsubishi would be higher if it was a nicer car to drive. Because again, the turnaround those two cars had from when I first got them to what they are now is absolutely amazing. And that's what especially the more rewarding ones have done for me. These cars have become amazing. So that's my lot. That's my list of top 10 projects. And in the future, I'll revisit it. There'll be a lot more cars coming, that's for sure. I am going to keep fixing up shit boxes. I just enjoy it a lot. I love these older cars, and there'll be some stuff I'd like to try going forward. There's a few that haven't really come together because by the price or example haven't really worked or aligned at the time, but hopefully the stars will align for a couple of them and they will be on our list. Now, also interested in what you have to say. What cars should I target next? I'm pretty much open to anything. Weird, unusual. It can be anywhere basically, as long as I can get it to somewhere close to me, either in SA or Vic. But what are your thoughts below? What are your thoughts on the next project cars? Leave a comment below if you've got a request for a certain car. So, thanks for watching. If you like what we do, remember to like and subscribe.